Okay, so Memoria, right? That is our new short film playing at Sci-Fi London. It's it's an interesting one, this, right? It's a very curious, right? Now, let's find the information of the film. Okay. It is written and directed by Alina Bichieva. She also produces the film. It's starring Malcolm Jeffries as Vincent and Fenn as Arden. There's not it's one of those ones where there's not a whole heap of information around it, which is always a pain. Actually, I think I might have okay, so Max Slater is cinematography, and Matthew Carnfield is production design. Right, so there is that. Now, the gist of the film, right? In the world of Memoria, the time machine is a new invention aimed for therapy purposes to help people heal trauma through revisiting memories. The process of time travel is split into two separate stages. The first stage is jumping from the present time into the hub, a room within time and space where the body adapts to the jump. After 3 days, you are acclimatized for the second stage, which is a jump from the hub to the actual memory in any year or location. In the film, the inventors of the machine decide to test it for the first time. However, they only plan to go through the first stage, visit the hub, experience the body adaptation, and then go back into the present. After spending 3 days in the hub, they try to jump back, but shortly realize that the machine won't let them do that until they use it for its actual purpose and visit their own memories. Bum, 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 bum. So yeah, obviously not what was planned, right? Now we do have a director's statement from Alina. It reads, as a filmmaker, I believe in the power of stories based on personal experience, and even though on the surface Memoria is a sci-fi film, in the heart of it there is a deeply emotional story about human connection and healing from trauma. The themes embedded within the film, grief, loss, healing, and living through traumatic memories, are truly eternal and relevant to people of all ages and backgrounds. This is what makes Memoria a universal story, addressing the audience and challenging question. If you could revisit one of your darkest memories, what would it be? So yeah, there we go with the film. Now, there's not a whole heap of information. Right, we just have these two people in this room, which gave me 80s vibes, right? The wallpaper, that wallpaper, right? It really gave me those 80s vibes, people. And yeah, there's a bit of tension, right? You realize that, they're trying to work something out, right? And she's trying like the meditation, these different things, and Vincent is he seems very opposed. He's just like, oh, why are we wasting time, right? He's frustrated. He just wants to get about things. But then we realize, right, that they've invented this machine, right? That's what we understand this. They've invented this machine, but it's not working. It's not working. We also learn a bit about Vincent, right? About the memory that might be haunting him. So this whole experience is, as I said, it's dealing with this grief, right? It's dealing with traumatic past and issues. Now, with both of them, you get the feeling that Arden has a better grip on things, right? And a better way of just communicating. Like, Vincent is very shouty, right? Very shouty, very aggressive. Now, there is a lot of stuff that comes out, which it's an interesting one, right? Because you do wonder, would these two be working together? You know what I mean? Wouldn't some of this stuff have come out earlier? You know? So there is that, right? There is a bit of a feel that maybe we're getting this stuff here to show something, but in all honesty, in real life, I don't know if it would happen like this, you know? But, you know, there's these issues, right? I think what we then see is the coping with these incidents. This is more about Vincent than Arden. That's what you get from this whole thing. It's only, just over 11 minutes, I feel. The thing is, just over, what is it? Or is it 13? No, it's 13. Yeah, it's over 11, right? It's 13 minutes. Yeah, so it's not long, right? And I think the end of it is interesting, because when you see it's looking at things, so you get a sense of, firstly, time, and also, as I said, the coping with, right? And then understanding of how that's going, which that was very interesting to me, because it did throw up questions, right? Definitely threw up questions of, you know, what's going on. You know what I mean? Now, there's definitely, I think, an interesting idea with this film. Definitely an interesting idea. It's, you know, I don't think, you know, the IB is a bit all over the place. I'm not quite sure how many short films Alina has made, but you can see that, you know, she's developing. You know what I mean? Like, it's not a perfect film. I say some of the dialogue is a bit shaky, right? I think some of the well, let's just say in what the story is trying to get across to you, it's not always as strong as it could be. But this is very interesting. I think it does make you think about grief. It does make you think about, right, past trauma. And, you know, that question, right? That question that is asked, if you could revisit one of your darkest memories, what would it be? Right? So it's just, it's one of those. Would you want to go back? Would you want to try and learn from that experience? I don't know. Can you change that experience? Right? So I think the film definitely brings these things to mind. So it's an interesting piece on that front. I think it's shot well. You know, some of the dialogue and sound is a little muffled. You know, I think when Vincent, towards the end, when Vincent steps out of the machine, it's very hard to hear what the, I don't know, the hub says, right? So some of that dialogue is a little muffled. But, as I say, it's an interesting film. It's put together well. And it definitely, I think, makes you think of what Alina could do going forward, right? So, Memoria is showing as part of Sci-Fi London 2024, right? It will be one of the films at the Rich Mix on the 14th, and playing online from the 14th to the 22nd of September. So if it sounds like it could be for you, go check it out. Memoria.